Trudeau putting a green radical like Chrystia Freeland in charge of the country's finances is going to fracture the country in a way that may not ever be repaired. However, I'm not entirely sure that's a bad thing anymore.
To Lena's question about decarbonization as part of our economic plan going forward, of course, it has to be part of it. I think all Canadians understand that the restart of our economy needs to be green. It also needs to be equitable. It needs to be inclusive. And we need to focus very much on jobs and growth. As the Prime Minister said in his remarks, and this is really important, the coronavirus is still with us. This is a once-in-a-lifetime challenge for our whole country. And our commitment as a government is to do whatever it takes to support Canadians as we get through that challenge, and as we get through it, to really build back better and to turn this tremendous challenge into a fabulous opportunity for our country. Canadians have done such a terrific job in fighting the coronavirus so far. I'm really, really proud of our country, and I am absolutely confident that working together, we can get through this and we can build back a country even better than the one we had before the pandemic hit us.
As someone rightly pointed out to me on Twitter, the Liberals want us to believe that Chrystia Freeland is some kind of political Swiss Army knife, just able to do any job that she's plunked into, from foreign affairs to negotiating with the Americans on trade deals to managing Trudeau's love of doing nothing in his underpants in her new role as Deputy Prime Minister. However, Freeland's more of a dollar store jackknife full of spoons when we need a serrated edge, especially now to cut the bloat of the COVID-19 bailout program spending. Freeland's not going to cut anything. Instead, she's going to use the coronavirus meltdown in the economy the way some sort of opportunistic ghoul would, to use the desperation and suffering of the unemployed along with the unsustainable Liberal catastrophic spending levels to usher in a new way, her way, a greener way. Now, Freeland, to be fair, has greened other things before, like that time she was put in charge of the digital revamp of Reuters. And Freeland's absolutely terrible business sense killed that whole part of the company, what was then called Reuters Next. Good news, though, by nuking Reuters Next, Freeland managed to bring its CO2 emissions down to zero. So I guess a success by Liberal metrics. But with that first speech to Canadians explaining her new focus and goals, the one I showed you at the beginning of this video, Freeland just became the de facto leader of the separatist movement in the West, and I don't think she realizes it yet. She's a much bigger get for the independence movement than former Alberta Finance Minister Lloyd Snellgrove joining the Western Independence Party earlier this week. Now let me explain. Freeland has purposefully chosen, her first speech, her first address to the Canadian people to send a message to all of us, and especially to us in the West, that our economies, our jobs, our families, our livelihoods, they're not going to be a part of what she is going to do as finance minister. Whether we are in the oil patch, farming, both, or any of the support industries for those two enormous segments of the Canadian economy. Right after Freeland finished her speech, #Wexit was trending on Twitter because we all know decarbonization of the economy, Freeland's words, is Liberal shorthand for killing Alberta, and I'll take Freeland at her word for it. We Westerners are being written out of the economy and right out of the future of Canada in favor of a green restart. If the auto sector in the East was hammered the way we are, any and all parties would move heaven and earth to help, but not for us. We're being left behind in favor of green energy, an industry built on constant failures and never-ending subsidies paid out of a pool of money to our enemies, ironically collected disproportionately from us. And for the rest of you Canadians who think that Freeland's right, that the economy needs to be green, not flush with green as in green money, but green energy, and you don't care if the West stays or goes, well, that's fine by me, but please realize Freeland's plan means more expensive food, higher electricity, transportation, and home heating costs, and then higher and more taxes on everything that you do. Freeland had a chance to be a unifier rather than a divider in her first speech to the country as finance minister, and I guess she was, but not in the conventional sense. Yesterday, Freeland hardened the resolve of many Western separatists, made soft separatists full ones, and pushed reluctant ones right into the movement. I know I said Freeland isn't going to cut anything, but maybe I'm wrong. That jackknife full of spoons is going to carve up this country like a Thanksgiving turkey. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Rebel News continues to be a place of debate and discussion for all the things the mainstream media doesn't want us to talk about, from immigration to Western separation to parents' rights to taxes. If you want to help us continue to be a place where we discuss the issues that you talk about around your dinner table, you can do that at a special website. Just go to helprebelnews.com and make a donation today.